Hello and welcome to another Eurogamer Next-Gen News Cast. It's the 4th of February, 2021. I once again joined by Eurogamer's news editor, Tom Phillips. Hello, Tom.
Hey there.
And intrepid Eurogamer reporter, Emma Kent. Say hello, Emma.
Oh.
Once again, we have an action-packed week of news to discuss. It never ceases to amaze me just how much news this industry pumps out, even in the supposedly quiet early period of the year. But first, as is Eurogamer Next-Gen Newscast tradition, we will talk about what we've been playing. Emma, let's start with you first.
Well, I put down a Cyberpunk modding for a second to play some Apex Legends again. It's been a little while.
Yeah, Apex Legends just launched Season 8, I think it is.
Yeah, I haven't actually had a chance to try Season 8 yet because they've kind of smashed up King's Canyon a bit, which is the original map. So I'm quite excited to see what they've done there, and hopefully they've opened up a bit more play area. Yeah, no, it's doing really well at the moment. If you look at how it's doing on Steam, and there just seems to be loads more interest in it. Ever since I think they put out the really big shiny new map in October, I think it's kind of brought people back.
Yeah, I saw that with the launch of Season 8, it got its highest concurrence on Steam ever. So even though it's 2 years old, it's now more popular than it's ever been. Well, at least it feels like that. I don't know the internal stats from EA, but it seems to be doing incredibly well, making lots of money. Although there is this push and pull, isn't there, between the players and Respawn over how the game's monetized. Every now and again, you see these stories about these ridiculous they're not microtransactions, are they? They're huge transactions that you can spend in the game.
Yeah, sometimes they do events where basically you can unlock a couple of skins through playing the game, but then you have to like buy like a huge amount of skins to get like the heirloom, which is like locked behind it.
What's an heirloom?
Right, so like the really flashy weapons that you can either get by just playing the game a lot, and you happen to get a loot box and it's got like the kind of top tier item in it, and it's just cosmetic, like it doesn't give you an advantage. So I've got one naturally for Pathfinder the robot, so they're just like a pair of boxing gloves instead of fists, but like other characters like Wraith, instead of having just like bare fists to punch people, she like carries like a little kunai knife and stuff. So that's what an heirloom is, but they're kind of what the streamers use, and everyone wants like an heirloom item because it shows that it's like their favorite legend. So previously Apex Legends had an event where one of the heirlooms, I think it was for Bloodhound, it was like an axe, was hidden behind, I think you had to buy like I don't know, like 12 skins or something like that, and it was like over $100 worth of skins to be able to get that heirloom. I remember crunching the maths on it and like nearly losing my mind.
So you have to spend all that money just to get another cosmetic?
Yeah. Well, they did.
You can't just get it directly. You can't just, here's 20 quid.
I mean,
for this
you
cosmetic.
can, but you'd probably have to buy a lot of loot boxes just in the game to get the heirloom otherwise. They have made it a little bit less random now in that they don't have like specific heirlooms that you get from the loot boxes. You get heirloom shards, and then you can pick which legend you get the heirloom, because people were saying this is ridiculous, like I've opened like 500 loot boxes, and that like there is like a limit where you will get the heirloom. But
how nice of them.
It is like hundreds and hundreds of loot boxes.
Oh my god.
Some people are like, oh yeah, no, I got it on like the 400th one.
Loot boxes are so 2010. I'm sorry. Like you know what game doesn't have loot boxes, don't you, Emma? Call of Duty.
Oh yes.
even Bobby, even Uncle Bobby isn't putting loot boxes in. When Uncle Bobby isn't doing the thing you're doing, you've got problems.
This might be a bit too much. We should stop.
Yeah, you've got problems when you're doing the thing even he won't do. No, that sounds just annoying as hell.
Yeah.
Like I have not like put battle passes in, sell your cosmetics, make them cool, as long as they're not, gameplay affecting or pay to win or anything. Just let me buy what I want direct, like just let me give you like some of the cosmetics in Call of Duty that are too expensive, they're overpriced. Like some of the elaborate weapon skins are like 20 quid or pushing 20 quid, or some of the elaborate character skins are.
Are they like included in the pack, so you have to
get
like
some
buy
stuff
pack,
thrown in, but you're buying the thing directly. There's no loot box to open to give you a chance to get it. There's no like, I have to buy this stuff first before I have a chance to buy the thing I actually want. So I'm not saying it's like a perfect system, but at least if I see something and I want it and I've got the cash, I can just buy it and I don't have to go for any of that crap. But it's a really good game. That's why people are playing it, right? I mean, hundreds of thousands, millions of people are playing it.
Yeah, it's really well designed, and I've been playing it for 2 years now, and it's one of my favorite games, despite those microtransactions. I've had to turn my settings to Belgium just so that I'm not tempted to buy loot boxes.
You've turned it. Oh yes, I remember this.
The famous thing. It's just like a little, like my own personal child lock on loot boxes. So
wow,
I don't buy them.
You're like your own parent.
Yeah.
So there's no loot boxes in your version of the game?
Well, yeah, basically you get a certain amount of like crafting materials, and then you can just spend it on like an item that you want. So when you get like the battle pass, you do get a reward. It's just not a loot box. I think like technically it's probably better to just get the loot box in the reward. Like if you calculated like the kind of value, you do get slightly more value from the loot boxes, but then you get to pick what you want. So I think to me it's like way better.
I love it. Rerouting your gameplay through Belgium, giving to
Thanks,
avoid
Belgium.
the grubby crap in the game. The things we do. Tom, what you got?
A bit of Fortnite this week, aka the most popular Star Wars game of all time. Been playing a bit of the Mandalorian map, or the mode, which has a bit of Mandalorian now stuck into the map. That's quite fun.
What's the bit of the Mandalorian that's stuck in the map?
I think it's the cantina, which in the first season of the show gets completely shot to pieces when Moff Gideon turns up.
That's a great episode, that one.
Yeah. Anyway, you can relive your Star Wars fantasies by dropping in there and shooting people dressed as fish and bananas.
Is there no Mando skin?
Yeah. Mando.
So you can buy a Mando skin. You can run around Fortnite dressed as Mando, right, with the armor and everything.
He is part of the battle pass, and if you upgrade your battle pass to the top level, which is 100, which I did, I finally hit 100 over the weekend actually. You unlock Baby Yoda.
Is it like a pet or?
Yeah, he follows you around.
In one of those little levitating anti-grav buggy things. Holy shit! I cannot begin to imagine how much money that is making for them, for everyone. Anyone even tangentially associated with Star Wars is probably getting millions thrown at them as a result of this.
I don't even play Fortnite that much anymore, and I still bought a Kylo Ren skin recently. So,
Kylo Ren, what's that? Who's that?
What do you mean? Who's Kylo Ren?
I've never heard. Who's that?
I think he was like in one of the spin-offs.
Really? Oh no! If it's not Mandalorian, why bother? Sorry, Emma, for trolling there.
Yeah, that's rude.
It's funny though. We like battle royales, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Fortnite is that it's just ever present and everlasting, and so the attraction of there's just such a huge pull, and always now I will always have a Mandalorian skin. I'm going to play Fortnite for years.
You sound like you're going to take it to your grave or something. Like
be buried with his Mandalorian skin.
Yeah.
On your tombstone, here lies Tom Phillips in his Mandalorian skin.
There's a lot of like they put a lot of effort into their skins in the game because that's how Fortnite makes so much money. But one of the attractions is that there's never going to be a Fortnite 2. There's no question of that. And Fortnite just seems to continue to be hugely, hugely relevant.
I feel like we're kind of ready on Fortnite 2 after they destroyed the first map.
Yeah, we are. Like Chapter 2 after the Black Hole event is as close to a sequel as that game is ever going to get. And like, yeah, Fortnite will still be around in 10 years and you'll still be able to play as the Mandalorian if you bought the Battle Pass this season, and anything in Battle Passes never ever comes back. So it's that real kind of FOMO You know what? I will put in that extra effort and grind the battle pass out and get Baby Yoda, because then I'll always have it. And if I don't, I'll always regret that I don't.
Tom, all I'm hearing is a bunch of stuff. Convince yourself that buying this thing was worth it. Like, it's going to last forever. So it's infinite value. How much did you spend?
Well, the battle pass is £7.99. So, but you get 100 cosmetic items in the battle pass. So.
Have you ever,
Fortnite always does good cosmetic items.
I was wondering if you've ever paid to kind of get the final items in the battle pass, because you can just buy the levels, right?
No,
you can do that in Warzone as well.
For one, I completely invalidates the whole point of a battle pass, which is to encourage you to play. And
yes, I bet a lot of people do that.
Of course they do. Yes, they want to skip ahead. They want to have Baby Yoda on day 1, not day 100 of the season when everyone else gets it. They want to have him first. The other reason also just I play this game an awful lot, and there's absolutely no reason for me to buy through passes and buy through levels that I'm gonna unlock anyway.
I won't linger on this, but if I bought the battle pass like you did, yeah, and I was like, right, I want Baby Yoda now, how much would it cost for me to unlock Baby Yoda right now?
Like, back of the envelope, I think it's about 150 quid.
So it's like Apex Legends then.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
but
wow. There's no need. Like, absolutely zero need.
Yeah.
Like, the Fortnite seasons are 3 months long.
Talk about the dark side, Jesus Christ!
I've hit 100 halfway through the season.
Talking of Fortnite 2, like Warzone, and there not being a need for it because there's new map and stuff. Warzone's, I mean, it needs a new map now. It could really do with one. I'm sure it's going to come soon, but Verdansk is starting to get a bit stale for me. And I know they put Rebirth Island in there, but that's more of it's a really short mode with a very small area. So they need to tear it up sooner rather than later. I have been playing Destruction All Stars on PlayStation 5, which is a arcade racing crashing into each other game from Lucid Games. It's a Liverpool studio, and it's fun. It's very shallow. This is a game that was supposed to be £70 and out at the launch of the PS5. If this game, the way it is now, had come out at 70 quid, then it would have gotten gotten 1s and 2s out of 10, avoids, and no one would be playing it. Like, literally no one would be playing it. As it is, it's free, essentially. I know PlayStation Plus isn't free, but it's a free game. And lobbies are really full. Like, you don't have to wait long to get a game. Now, the review should be on the site now. So I'm not going to go into deep about this, but there's one thing I want to talk about this game. Yeah, this game's voice chat, is insane. Right, this game does something with voice chat I've never seen before, and it pissed me right off. But now I just find it hilarious. You get it matched in the lobby, 16 other players, and voice chat is on by default. Now, I don't think a lot of people know this, but there's a mic in your PS5 controller, and unless you actively go into the PlayStation 5 settings, it's on by default as well, right? So, and in fact, there's guides all over the internet. We've got one about how to turn this off, because when you're setting your PlayStation 5 up, you're just breezing through all the options. Like, come on, I just want to play. I just want to get into it. You sort of, you don't really notice, but you're actually letting it do this. So everyone's mic is on by default, and whether you've got a headset or not, you're talking and it's picking up what you're saying. And the noise is coming out of the controller as well. So that, all the noise from the game, because there's a speaker in there and the voice chat, it's fucking weird. It's like, and I have heard some shit playing this game, and this is the draw for me playing it now, because
you just want to hear what's going on in other people's homes.
You never know what you're going to hear next. I've heard some crazy shit, right? Disgusting crap, like people eating, You know, when you're muted, you don't give a shit. You're playing a game, you shove everything into your face, and you're holding the controller because it's so close to where they're probably. Oh, just this noise of it. People farting and burping. Babies screaming, kids playing this game, and their parents screaming at them to stop, and they just won't stop. Right? I heard this couple talk. This guy talk about I think, presuming his wife, talking about getting his car serviced. The best one, yeah. The best one was this. Must have been in their 50s. The husband was playing the game, and he was having a full-blown chat with his wife. And there's no way in hell they knew that the mic on their controller was on. I know this because his wife called a cab, and she said for her husband, she called a cab while he's playing this game for her husband, saying her full address, proper clear, a whole lobby could hear it.
Well, and it sounds like it's actually like a security issue. So no one knows this is on. I
think they'll just go, well, you can turn this off, and it is easy to turn your mic off. There's a button on the controller no one knows about that you can press to turn your mic off. No one does it, clearly. Her full address, and for 3 p.m. taxi to go to the medical centre for her husband.
Oh no! I hope you didn't get the details of what was going on there.
I don't know what was wrong, but I wish him the best of luck. I know I was playing this game. I'm trying to play the game, yeah, and you're hearing all this stuff. Oh, it's so funny. And so many, all the different European languages, people saying, I'm going to learn the language through this game. I'm going to learn the swearing. Language. A lot of swearing in Russian. But yeah, it's so funny. You don't turn it on, it's like roulette. It's like Gogglebox video game roulette. You never know what you're going to hear. It's brilliant. That's worth the download.
PS5 feature, which is crotch audio.
Yeah, crotch audio. The secret PS5 exclusive crotch audio. But yeah, it's worth down. It's only 30 gig. It's like smaller than COD patches. It's worth a download just to give the lobbies a whirl.
COD patch crotch audio.
Yeah, smaller than a COD patch. Anyway. News this week. Speaking of PlayStation 5, Sony did their financials, and I know financials dry, right? But this is for the launch of the PlayStation 5. So October, November, December 2020, and they announced that they had sold 4.5 million PS5s, which is roughly in line with what the PS4 did at the same time period in its launch back in 2013. Now, this is obviously an incredible success, but what is worth noting here is it's supply constrained, right? So if there had been plenty of stock, this thing would have sold, people are estimating it would have sold like 5.5 million, 6.5 million, would have been very clearly the biggest console launch of all time. But then you've also got the scalper problem, right? Which is adding complexity to the launch. So 4.5 million, roughly the same as PS4. I think you have to view it in context. Tom, what do you think, Sony? Do you think Sony's happy with how it's going so far? Do you think they're, despite the fact that they just can't make enough, that they're leaving money on the table?
They can only make as many as they can make and ship as many as they can ship. You could also say that regardless of whether it's bought by a scalper or someone trying to get their first PlayStation 5 that doesn't live in a fort of them in their garage, it doesn't really matter to Sony. A sale is a sale. The other remarkable thing about the financials was not only were they saying, but because they made so much money, it was like their best ever quarter. Not only were they saying, well, it's, we could have made more because we were just hampered by how many we could sell and ship. They were also saying that PlayStation 5 was sold at a loss. So despite the fact that they were shifting all of these consoles, which lose the money, they were still making them the biggest profit they've ever made in a financial quarter, which just speaks to PlayStation Plus subscriptions, digital game sales, and all of that. They're doing so well.
Incredible performance. In fact, it could be, I'm not entirely sure about this, I was trying to work it out, but potentially the most money made by a game company in a single quarter ever of all time. as you say, despite the fact that the PS5 was sold at a loss. Just astonishing. PlayStation Plus revenue, digital sales revenue, DLC. Every time a kid on playing Fortnite on PlayStation buys one of those Mandalorian skins, Sony gets their cut. Just off the chart revenue. One of the interesting things also came out of it was they have talked about the year ahead, the rest of the year, and how many they hope to sell, and even how many they hope to sell in the next financial year. And they're talking about selling, millions of these things, and it's going to be very, very popular. But they've warned people. They've issued a warning, essentially saying this thing is going to be supply constrained for a long time. They've got manufacturing issues to do with chips. This isn't just affecting them; it's affecting everyone who has chips in their hardware. But there's a real shortage of chips at the moment, manufacturing chip problems. Coronavirus, the pandemic, it's all factored in. So I don't think there's going to be an end to the PS5 being essentially sold out as soon as it goes on sale. This year, at least this year, which seems crazy, right? Like, it just seems like a crazy thing.
Yeah, you kind of imagined that they would have sorted out, by summer or something. But no.
They will.
Wonder if people are going to start scalping the chips to Sony and Microsoft. That's the next stage.
Yeah, Sony, if you want those chips, you need to go down CEX and buy them from there secondhand. The coronavirus thing, I mean, it hits them twice as hard because one, it hits their ability to make consoles, and two, it hits them because there's just so much more demand for them at this point, and that means that they're just so much more scarce. If fewer people were stuck at home with nothing else to do but play video games, who might not have wanted to get a PlayStation 5 yet, who might have waited a bit longer or might not have got one at all, then there wouldn't be as much demand as there is now, which is just making it harder for everyone.
Yeah, I remember we were talking in the last episode about scalpers, and really the only way to stop this scalping that's going on is to make the PS5 widely available. Scalpers are looking at this and they're like, yes, like it's boom time for the foreseeable, it's just disgusting. I don't really know what's to be done. It's just literally, this is it. Like, you go on Amazon now, you can't get a PS5, and there's just no way you can. I don't know what's to be done. Sticking with the PS5 news, this week, the announcement of MLB The Show 21 as PlayStation Studios' first Xbox game. And this is kind of a landmark moment, but because PlayStation Studios, there's never been a PlayStation Studios game on Xbox before, and you can see the box art, and it's like an Xbox box, and it's got the PlayStation Studios logo, and it's just weird, The announcement of this game was a PlayStation blog post, and it's like, and it's coming to Xbox, like they're genuinely excited, and it's like, it's just weird, My question is this the start of something? Or is this a one-off? Tom, you go first.
Maybe when the game.
It's a yes or no answer, Tom.
I don't think it will be in the fullness of time. I think there will be more PlayStation Studios titles on Xbox if they are similar to MLB.
Sports games, then.
Sports games which don't feature PlayStation exclusive IP characters that you would associate with buying a console to get access to, and you could argue games which would probably struggle to find as big an audience on PlayStation otherwise. Like, you don't need to put God of War on Xbox to sell 5 million copies of that game, but you probably do need to put MLB on Xbox to sell 5 million copies of the game. Xbox has a huge American market. MLB, obviously baseball, huge American market. I think it makes sense. It's probably not the last time they'll do this, but we're not going to see like The Last of Us 3 on Xbox Series X.
So it's more to do with licensing then, isn't it? It's you're working with an official license. You're making a game of that license. The licensor wants their game to be played on by as many people as possible. So it's incumbent on the licensee to release that game on as many platforms as possible. But it's not. But so I'm just trying to imagine like what if there's anything other like any other game that Sony makes that is like this, and I can't think of one. Like, and is there a game that Microsoft makes that's like this, and I can't think of one. So I wonder if it's just going to go down as a weird thing that happens that never happens again.
No one ever talks about.
Yeah.
It will happen again next year.
Something.
Right. Okay. Next year with MLB 22.
Yeah.
23.
Yes, of course. Okay. But MLB is just like this really weird game series that Sony makes. Also comes out on Xbox. We haven't asked you this in a while. I want to get both your opinions on this, but I feel like opinions change relatively quickly on this, and it's interesting on seeing what people are saying about online. The Microsoft Bethesda deal was in the news again recently this week. Not really an important piece of news, just that the EU now has a deadline for which to approve the deal in the context of antitrust issues. No one's sort of expecting them to say no. But do we think that? How do we feel now? Do we think Starfield is coming out on PlayStation? Emma, you go.
I think I'm sticking with the timed exclusive theory, because then that way you can kind of be like, oh, don't worry, it will come out eventually on PlayStation. So I think people will still be upset, but maybe not as upset as if it was just a full exclusive.
Okay. So you're going timed exclusive for Starfield. Tom, how you feeling in 2021?
I can't remember what I said previously. I think
that's good.
I think timed exclusive is a good shout, or like a timed exclusive beta access, because it's going to be multiplayer, and it's Bethesda, is going to have bugs, so they'll probably want to do a beta, and that will be for Xbox first. So yeah, but it will probably come to PlayStation.
We've got another weird publishing thing coming up, right? Which is Microsoft-owned ZeniMax, Bethesda, whatever, is releasing a PlayStation exclusive. Or at least is it a bona fide exclusive? I'm talking about Ghostwire, I think it's called.
I think it's timed.
Deathloop. These are two games that had signed deals with Sony before the acquisition. And from what we can tell, that deal will be honored. So we're in a situation where Microsoft Studios is about to publish a timed exclusive on PlayStation. Which is, again, going to look weird. But at least Microsoft has form in this, right? Because of Minecraft. How does that work, Tom?
Yeah, Minecraft is on PlayStation, obviously, and pretty much every other electronic device under the sun. It makes sense for Minecraft because it's a game where people play together, where there's lots of different like DLC content unlocks, and kind of like Fortnite, it just makes sense that it's one experience with a shared user base, with a shared set of purchases that just work whatever device that you play on. And I think it does help that it's a family thing. I think it just feels nice that everyone gets to play together. I mean, other examples are all of the Xbox titles on Switch, things like Ori, Hellblade, stuff like that. Microsoft has always been more open-minded about this stuff than PlayStation. So yeah, the Bethesda stuff is weird though. It's just a hangover, I think, from deals that can't be unpicked now legally.
Yeah, Emma, as an Xbox console owner, and I don't think you have a PlayStation console, right?
I do have a PlayStation 4. Hand me down from Digital Foundry.
We don't talk about those. We don't talk about those on this. We only talk about next gen. Is there any PlayStation next gen game that you would wish that PlayStation Studios would publish on Xbox, so you could actually play it? Is there anything you're like actually jealous that you're missing out on?
Maybe Horizon Zero Dawn, but there's nothing that I'm like massively upset by. I don't know. I can like live without all of them.
Play that on PC.
Yeah, exactly. Might have to wait a bit longer, though. I'm not sure if they're going to release it at the same time, but.
Okay, well, moving on to the ongoing drama with Cyberpunk. Is a new drama with that game and that studio every week, and I love you keeping on top of all of that, Emma. This week you reported on mods again, but also the remarkable situation where there's some sort of like security vulnerability that somehow got missed. Yeah, what actually happened?
Yeah, the reason this one was getting attention is because instead of when you download mods, there's always a little bit of a risk that you could get something a little bit dodgy because you're running an executable, and it's you just know that there might be a chance that something could go wrong. But what was really surprising about this was that there was a way to kind of use this vulnerability with how save files and save data works in Cyberpunk to basically use the game as like a backdoor into your PC, which meant that you could technically put a virus in like a crafted save file and share that save file with someone else who would then put it in their game, and then you could like upload a virus to that person's computer through that.
I mean, that sounds like Cyberpunk to me.
It is pretty much, yeah. And obviously a lot of people share save files, particularly on PC, because it's often seen as quite a safe thing to do. It's just data, it's like it should be just kind of contained. And yeah, this person in the modding community figured out this vulnerability, which is a little bit complicated, and it kind of makes use of like buffer overflows and like pointing to like an old DLL in like the code to basically open enough a way to like.
Are you an actual hacker at this point?
No, really. I mean, I'll be honest, like my dad isn't pretty good with IT, so I was just like, can you just check that I got all of this right? Because it's quite complicated. The person who found this is doing like a PhD in like computer graphics, and is obviously like this is the first time that they'd found a security flaw, but they knew what they were doing and explained the whole thing to me. And I think they said basically it was kind of lucky but easy to spot, but then hard to know how to exploit. So I'm not sure how many people would have actually known how to use this, but there was obviously a chance. And I spoke to CDPR about this, and they gave me a statement saying that they're working on a fix at the moment. So that should be rolled out in a patch sometime soon. But for now, don't install any kind of weird save files that you get from the internet, because they may not be safe after all.
We're in a remarkable situation where CD Projekt is warning people against downloading mods for their own game, right? Crazy.
I think, yeah, no, I think most mods are going to be fine. I think it's basically just now everything's a little bit risky. Like you'll probably be okay. Whereas before it was like just the mods are risky, and now it's like, yeah, now save files as well can be potentially dodgy until this is fixed. But actually one of the modding tools, Cyber Engine Tweaks, created their own like community fix for it. So if you use that modding tool, they've managed to change it so that your save files can't like accidentally install a virus on your PC if someone's trying to be naughty.
The modding community is astonishing. It's just astonishing, and I love these stories that you unearth about it. Really, really fascinating stuff. Also fascinating. Resident Evil's Village's tall vampire lady. Now, don't frown, Tom. Don't frown. Don't judge me. No, don't judge me. The things you like, Jesus. So I'm head over heels. Heels being the appropriate word. In love with Lady Dimitrescu, who is Resident Evil Village's internet sensation, tall vampire, and yes, Tom, they have said vampiric. Lady,
meaning like a vampire, not a vampire.
You nerd. And they just this is crazy. Oh, it's brilliant. I love it, but it's crazy. Capcom tweeted a message from the art director of Resident Evil Village, who's basically saying, thank you for all of your thirst for Lady Dimitrescu. It took us by surprise. We love it, and we're really excited to, for you all to play and all the other stuff. And what was super brilliant about this tweet, this message, is in it. They confirm Lady Dimitrescu's height. It's official. Resident Evil Village's tall vampire lady is 9'6". Now this is with heels and a hat, yeah. But
I like that they made sure those details were added on as well, just to be clear.
Yeah, she's still. I mean, she's a giant. So yeah, we knew she was tall, and people. I'd seen articles where people are trying to work out exactly how tall she was based on the gameplay clips we'd seen of her and screenshots. The fact that she's stooping to walk through a door. How high do you think that door is, for the time period of the castle being built, and extrapolating from there, all this crazy stuff. Now we know 9'6".
Who got closest to it, I wonder? It's kind of like those guess the weight of things you get at like fairs. Who got closest to guessing 9'6"?
What I love about this story is this confirmation has sparked a video game industry loving with Lady Dimitrescu, where other brands are either pointing out that actually they have really tall ladies in their games as well. Please like us, please notice us, or they do not, and they feel inadequate. I've seen people compare her height to the alien from Alien Isolation, which is tall. Master Chief, who is 7 foot something. There's brilliant charts people have made of video game characters in high order with Lady Dimitrescu at the top, and it's sort of going down. It's just wonderful. I
saw someone the other day modding Ava from Assassin's Creed Valhalla to be 9'6" as well. She's basically the size of a hut. She can't get through the doors or anything.
Really? That's brilliant. That's fantastic. The internet has fallen in love with Lady Dimitrescu, and this is all. I actually think it's tough times. People. It's easy to get depressed with doom scrolling and all the bad news and all the rest of it. I think this is great. It's a bit of a laugh, and it's my timeline is all the better for it. Not gonna lie, there's some creepy shit. There's some creepy shit out there people have done with Lady Dimitrescu. But on the whole, it's all good fun. It's all in good taste. And I can't wait to play that game so she can stomp on me. People are saying, what's in under the dress? Not like that, because in Resident Evil, a lot of the baddies often they reveal, and it's all horrible shit, tentacles and
people
garbage.
will like that. People will like it. I don't know what you're saying. It's wow, people will be really put off.
Yeah. Oh no, she's got her tentacles out. What will I do now? Oh. Anyway, Lady Dimitrescu for the win. Gosh, we're running out of time, but there's lots more news to discuss quickly. Google is shutting down its internal Stadia studios and offering its streaming tech to publishers. The existing service will remain, but this is, it's pretty bad news for Stadia, isn't it? And I saw this news, and the reaction of the whole internet was told you. It was everyone was yeah, shocked. Tom, you haven't said much about Lady Dimitrescu. Perhaps you'll have more to offer about Google.
This is why I love the news. What a hard pivot that is from video game first to 150 people losing their jobs.
Yeah. It was hard.
There's no it's extremely depressing to see 150 people lose their jobs, 2 or more studios shut down, a lot of talent wasted, 2 years worth of development time that we'll never see the product of until it leaks inevitably. People like Jade Raymond out of a job, People, the vast majority of people who joined Google, say what you want about whether you thought Stadia was ever going to be a success. I think we all had our own thoughts on that, but like they were just trying to make some games there, and that is a shame. I mean, on the one hand, it was always inevitable, and on the other, it is surprising when you see like something like this. Just it's gone, because 150 people is a lot of people, but to Google, like the whole Stadia project was just a rounding error, and they make these big bets, and clearly it wasn't paying off, and so that was it.
Emma, where did Stadia go wrong?
Oh gosh.
Pick one. Pick one of the ways.
God, probably just.
As a punter,
pricing was weird, wasn't it?
Right, yeah. So as a punter, you didn't get involved, right? It never appealed to you.
No.
So
not
why?
Really.
What was it about it that? Why did you see it and just thought, nah?
Well, personally, I know that my internet's terrible, and I'm sure you could probably see that if I've frozen up a few times during this call.
What?
You said that?
What?
Did you get
that? So that was definitely something I wasn't too keen on. Maybe if you live in Silicon Valley, it's not a problem, but
if you work for Google, Stadia's great in Google's office.
Yeah, exactly.
Phil
like
Harrison
wired
loves
into the
it.
servers. So that was one thing, and then also just having to like pay to stream the games as well. Like if it had been some form of subscription model, I think I would have been more interested.
I mean, that is the thing. Why? I mean, I was in a round table with Phil Harrison interview, talking about the launch of Stadia, and we were saying, you're charging extra for people who have to pay for the full price for the games on top to stream them. And I was baffled in this round table, and I've sensed just a genuine shock from all the journalists. And Phil Harrison is like, as if it had never occurred to him. Like, he literally like, and what? Like, what the fuck? Like, it's just crazy. Like, they were like, we're not the Netflix of games. Yes, you are. If you're streaming, you're the Netflix of games, and that's how everyone will look at you, because Netflix is out there and it's the main dominant thing, and that's what everyone gets compared to. Microsoft can say Game Pass, Ultimate isn't compared, but it is. People look at streaming in the same way, no matter what it is. You pay your money every month, and then you get your catalog, you get your library of stuff, and they just imagine Netflix put out a new episode of something, and they said, you got to pay us £2 for it as well. Like, no, no one would do it.
When Stadia was first announced, what I basically expected was something like Xbox All Access, perhaps without the slightly weird repercussions if you don't get your payments in. But you get the box, and then you just get like a big library of games that you can just pay subscription for, pretty much.
Disney Plus
it's a real
tried
shame
this with Mulan, and it didn't
exactly.
work.
It didn't work. Exactly. In fact, it pissed people off, and this pissed people off. It's a real shame. Like, they've obviously invested a lot of money. People will have, moved their families for this job, to make games exclusively for Stadia. They will have been pumped to do it, lots of money invested. So it's a terrible situation for them. Also a crying shame is that the tech is great. Like, it actually is good, for certain games.
Cyberpunk, right?
Cyberpunk, at launch, one of the best ways to play Cyberpunk was on Stadia. Playing like single player, like action adventure story-based games where you're not looking, like, it doesn't really matter if it's 60 FPS. It's fine, it's good, it works. So I know the tech's still going to be around and they're still going to release games on it, but the fact that there's not going to be any exclusives, it's like if Netflix originals didn't exist, would people subscribe to Netflix? I don't know. And it's interesting to see what people have been saying on the Stadia subreddit, which, by the way, I've been tracking ever since it came out, and people there are like the ones who believe in it, and they're really like, we don't know why everyone hates this. We like, Stadia's great, and they're like, it's over. The dream's dead. So yeah, I still think streaming's the future, but I just think Google fucked it.
Yeah, I don't know who they're going to offer this tech to now. Microsoft sorted, PlayStation sorted, even Nintendo streams games on Switch.
Nintendo could probably benefit from it. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they probably won't.
Amazon, maybe.
Epic.
Maybe they should just help each other out. They've both been struggling to get going in this industry.
If Google had got its act together, or just seen the future as it is now, 2 years ago, they maybe could have partnered with Epic, but Epic are with GeForce. So
it does. It does feel like the beginning of the end. Yet another Google initiative that they are walking away from after Google Glass. The reputation continues. We should wrap up. But before we go, let's do a mug check. Tom, what you got for us this week?
This is from Pokemon Center, London.
Oh, wow.
You could only get it there. I was lucky enough to go to the opening, and I did spend quite a bit of my own money, I will say, on Pikachu London memorabilia. And
show us Pikachu up close. Show us Pikachu.
So he's wearing his little London bowler hat.
Ah, yeah. Cute.
Thank you.
Wow. That's a lot better than the last two. Emma.
All right, I have a confession to make. I forgot my mug. I just have a water bottle. It's really boring. No, I feel like a mug. I am the mug. It's me.
When I said mug check, I bet you were like, oh shit. Okay, are you ready for this?
Fight.
You know what? Right, so this is my Street Fighter mug.
PP?
I love this mug. PPP is all three punches or just press punch a lot. When you fill this, I've drunk my coffee now, there's nothing left, but when you fill this with a hot drink, it changes to reveal E Honda doing his 100-hand slap against Zangief, who is getting knocked out by it. PPP is what you hammer to do the 100-hand slap from E Honda, and it's as it goes down, it reveals the actual fight.
That might be the nerdiest thing.
Huh?
Honda, isn't that a car?
E Honda. He's a sumo wrestler from Japan.
I don't have a P button on my controller. I have an A and a B and an X and a Y.
For those of you who wish to follow Tom on Twitter for more inane bullshit, where should they go?
WYP 100.
And I don't know what to say now. If you want to follow Emma on Twitter, where should they go?
Gone EFK.
I can't. I was going to say your actual Twitter handle, but I can't remember it. What is it again?
It's my name with EG on the end.
All right. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.
Bye.